Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me today. It's Alan Barry Labucan with the Rocks and Stocks News show. And we've got a good friend of the show in Goliath Resources to come on. They've got what I call my highest conviction gold discovery pick. And I've been calling it that for some months now. And why I say that is that I think they have the makings of what could be a tier one discovery in one of the most prolific high grade gold mining camps in the world in the Golden Triangle of British Columbia. And they've had drilling on it for the past few years. Last year was a real breakthrough because they started to get the gold in the volcanics below the sediments, and I think that has them in a position for 2024 drilling, which just started, to be the best year. And right out of the gate, they came out with some great news from the very first hole. I think you're only a week into drilling.
Mhm.
So I got my man Roger Erasmus on to talk about it. Roger, congrats on the first hole.
Thanks very much. And no, the team has been doing an awesome job. They did incredible work on the off season and looking at all sorts of studies, geochem, modeling, mapping, reinterpretation. And this year, it's as I've mentioned to many folks, is it's a laser focused drill program for us this year. And by the way, yeah, thanks for having me on, Alan. I appreciate always love chatting with you.
I'm really glad that you brought the team up first, Roger, because what we've seen of this system so far is that it has continuity and it's predictable. And this is part of what you want to hear when you're looking for something that is a mine of the future. They need to be predictable. They need to be have continuity. And this brings us to your team. Your team has an exceptional understanding of a project that has continuity and is predictable. And that doesn't come along very often, Roger.
Yeah, no, we're definitely blessed to have the same group of guys coming in every year, and same drillers, same helicopter pilots, same cooks. It's always the same group, you know, um, which provides for efficiencies that we're not bringing in greenhorns, taking weeks and weeks to get caught up to what's actually going on in the project. And from that, it's a very high cost saving for us in relation to operations. As an example, our meters last year, we drilled over 36,000 meters all in cost, like everything, fuel, geos, choppers, drillers, was about $380 per meter, which is unheard of in a helicopter assisted type of operation. So
Yes.
we do have that benefit, and we are quite
That's
lucky.
because of where you're located in the Golden Triangle. You're at the very tip of the southern part of the Golden Triangle, and you pretty much have that whole southern tip controlled under your claim block, and that
Yeah, we
makes
do.
you very close to civilization.
Very close. We can drive to Kitsault in 3.5 hours from Terrace, paved road primarily, and then gravel. Houses up to 300 people. We have apartment buildings there. We have industrial kitchens. So really, this could house, a mining type of operation. So we have the benefit of that. We're not building a camp every year. Guys sleeping on the side of the mountain, they can come after their 12 or 14-hour shift, have a nice hot shower, a nice hot meal, and have their own bed, basically. It's kind of like the Four Seasons five-star uh, exploration camp.
You know, and
Everyone wants to come and work.
I've
Go ahead.
worked in remote camps, Roger, and that being able to, have a comfortable after your shift is done and a good meal and a shower and a nice bed it helps when you get up in the morning to go to work.
You betcha. No, these guys, I mean, they work their tails off. They're up at the crack of as soon as the sun's coming up till the sun's gone down, and they're doing reports and so on. And I mean, I get stuff here at sort of 3 in the morning or 4 in the morning, Eastern Standard, just so they're finishing up their day, and so a very dedicated team. And again, we're very blessed to have these guys working hard and really motivated and excited because this is going to be like you said, probably a tier one asset by the end of the day once we complete our job. And I sincerely believe this will be a mine one day as well. So no, everyone's excited for sure.
Well, earlier I said something about predictability and continuity. And, evidence of that is really you look at the success rate of drilling into gold mineralization. You guys are over 90% hit rate with your drilling into gold mineralization. That, my friends, is a con good continuity gold system. But what really, is quite exciting as well is the visible gold, the continuity of the visible gold. I mean, last year I think you were close to 40% visible gold in your drilling, and that's tremendous continuity and predictability.
Definitely, and certainly like in a vein type of system or shear type system, it's even just to find VG is quite rare and obviously very special. That goes to like you say, the robustness of the system, and whatever the source might be it a porphyry and so on. I think we all agree it's an intrusive related system. That engine, whatever it is, has got to be huge because right now we're at what about 1.8 square kilometer area where we have all these 10 horizon veins now. We just drill
Veins.
into um, our mothership feeder zone, which we didn't know existed until our first hole this year. So it's just, I mean, this thing just keeps on going, getting bigger and bigger. And, I think, again, we're at the tip of the iceberg in relation to this discovery. I mean, we're not even drilling below the valley floor at this particular juncture. So, I mean, the hole 235, deepest point was 125 meters above the valley floor. So this next hole, 237 from the same pad, is targeting the same area, probably within 100 meters, going much deeper, and we'll see what's actually happening below the mother feeder uh, zone or pardon me, the mothership feeder zone that we've currently tapped in thus far. That is kicked out, 22, whatever, 20 to 24 meters of porphyritic type of mineralization. And then below that, we hit the Golden Gate, which, I don't know if people sort of understood what was happening in the news release, but we actually hit 100 meters of andesite with uh, quite a bit of veining going on there, of which there was about 10 meters that had significant veining and abundant visible gold. So, I'm not going to say the whole 100 meters is going to run, but definitely that 10 meters looks high, high probability. And it'd be kind of great if, these other veins that we're seeing in that other
And
90
lots of
meters.
sulfides in that.
Yeah, lots of sulfides. At some point,
Roger, as you were describing that, it reminds me of something one of my great mentors in geology told me. He said, Alan, and I loved him because he was super smart when it came to science, but he could
mhm,
always explain it in simple terms, and
mhm,
which I needed. And what he said is that projects they often start out really big. You got geochem and geophysics, and it looks really, really big. But then when they throw the truth machine on it, it gets
yeah,
smaller and smaller and smaller. But in
yes,
the case of mines, they do the opposite. As you throw more science and more drilling at it, it gets bigger and bigger. Now, where this gets really exciting to me in that analogy, Roger, is that your outcrop that led you to all of what you found underneath
yeah,
goes from the bottom of one side of the mountain up to the top and down the other side. And as you drill, you start at the top of that system and drill down. It's getting better and better and better and that's the progression that you see when you find a mine.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's pretty amazing stuff. To your point, we had essentially 2.1 kilometers of mineralization exposed at surface, wrapping around the mountain like a horseshoe with 700 meters of vertical relief. So even before drilling it, the maiden drill program in 2021, we had a 3D model. So it's not like we were chasing some geofantasy target down at depth, as we could see mineralization at surface. And again, whatever created this massive exposed mineralization at surface, that engine's got to be quite large. Think about a 1.8 square kilometer area of all this mineralization. So,
Yeah, that
um,
goes like this, up one side of the mountain, down the other. You know, another thing that's really excited me about I spent a lot of my career in diamond exploration, Roger. And how you find diamonds is you do sampling at the surface that leads you towards because you're not going to actually find diamonds in your surface sampling. They're very rare, even in a high grade one. But what you're doing is you're vectoring in with indicator minerals towards the source. And so the distribution of those indicator minerals, as you get closer, you get more of them, and they get bigger. And this analogy that I'm talking about, tracing it, you can sort of turn that upside down into what you found and project it to depth. And so when I put it into my diamond exploration guy mind, what I see is at the top of the system, you've seen more sparse, fine grained visible gold. And then you've moved below that and you've found abundant fine grained visible gold. Then you've moved below that and you've found more abundant and start of coarse grain gold, as you did in this news release. And so, what that describes to me is like in the diamonds, when you're trying to get closer to the source, that's what you're seeing progression in the visible gold grains. And I pay a lot of attention to that. I don't know if everybody
yeah.
else does, Roger, but I sure do.
Well, I do. I spent 10 years in Botswana looking for kimberlites, so
There you go.
I got my badge there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so to your point, we had Molly up to 2 millimeters in size. So that's actually the largest piece of Molly we have observed to date. We're seeing lots of bismuth as well. Uh, our previous talks, I think we spoke about some of the work we did off season, talking about the antimony and the bismuth, where we had these hot spots further down near the valley floor. So, it's paying off
And
in
that
spades
falls
for us.
into that same analogy, Roger, because now you're getting the minerals that are full of sulfides. So again, this is all about following the mineralization towards the heat engine. And each
It is.
time you get, whether you're
Oh,
looking
I
at
think you hit the mute.
oh, did I? No?
You're getting
Can you hear me?
excited there.
No, you should. Can you hear me, Roger?
I can't hear you.
Oh, no. Um,
There you are. You're back.
Oh, there was
Poltergeist.
it just got unstable, my internet for a bit there. I
Okay.
got so excited throwing my arms around and
Yeah.
talking about the visible gold and now the sulfides, the abundance of sulfides is starting to pick up as well. So this again, whether you're looking at the gold grains and how they're progressing, now you're starting to see the progression into the sulfides with
Yes.
high amounts. That pyrrhotite was 30%. Why don't you bring up we got so excited talking pre-news release. Let's
Yeah.
bring that news release up, Roger.
Sure. Well, what I'll do, I took like the main piece of the news, and in my mind, anyhow, because I think maybe a lot of people perhaps didn't really understand what we're trying
First, the
to
headline of that news release with Goliath discovers new deep mothership feeder zone at 648 meters downhole, containing abundant visible gold in first drill hole of 2024 at Sherbet in the Golden Triangle. System remains wide open. And the first highlight is discovery of a new deep zone, the Mothership Feeder Zone, containing abundant visible gold and strong sulfide mineralization in quartz breccia. All three of these things I want to dig into a little bit, but I'm going to hand it over to you to go through that image you have, Roger.
Oh, so the image is still here, still up?
Yeah, I see it. Yep.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. And I just, yeah, so really we hit three intercepts. We hit the Bonanza with the first. The second intercept was the Mothership Feeder Zone. Again, a
Yeah.
new area that this had the porphyritic material. And then down below here, is it Golden Gate? We're not sure. We had 100 meters of this andesite. So um, just quickly, I'll just pop down here. Then just from coming down the mount downhole. So
Yep.
Bonanza Shear was hit between, 445 and 457. So we have a 12-meter interval, vein density between multiple large quartz sulfide veins with the contact between the SEDS and the volcanics,
Yep.
containing abundant visible gold, up to 2% sphalerite, 1% galena, 1% chalco, 2% pyrite, pyrite, and 3% pyrite. So just to kind of put that in context, hole 197 that we drilled last year, um, this is very close to that hole, sort of within kind of 7,500 meters. True width, 9 meters of over an ounce per ton gold equivalent, and the bulk of that being gold. Um, there are a
And
lot of
was and did that
similarity.
one have that sphalerite, galena, calco,
It's
and pyrite?
the same makeup, everything. It's
Okay.
essentially looks to be the same type of percentages and so on. So
Wow,
our
and that's 75 to 100 feet. You could call that a pretty aggressive step out from, it's
yeah,
not like you're twinning that thing or five
yeah.
meters away from it.
Yeah, yeah. So again, so just people need to understand, I guess, just in for clarification, we have a 12-meter intercept there.
Yeah,
Will it be running at 34 grams per ton gold equivalent? I
who
don't know.
knows?
Who knows? But guess what? Assays are pending, and we'll find out. Second intercept, Mothership Feeder Zone at call it 530 to 554. There's your 24-meter intercept of porphyritic intrusion containing veins with abundant VG, moly up to 2 millimeters in size, and
Wow.
bismuth. So this increasing, to your point, we're increasing confidence level, we're getting more proximal to the feeder source of the
Yeah.
sherbet system. Obviously, assays are pending. And then the third intercept from 550 to 650 meters. It's 100 meters of andesite with high density of quartz veining with sulfides. So, are we going to have a 100-meter intercept with let's call it economical type of grades? I don't know. However, within that 100 meters, we do see 10 meters of andesite hosting a series of closely spaced quartz sulfide veins, again containing abundant Vg, up to 30% peritite, 3%
Wow. Look at
chalco,
that
1% sphalerite, 1%
30%
pyrite.
pyrite.
Yeah,
Whoa.
yeah. And what's really interesting too is so back to here. So here's Bonanza, Mothership Feeder. And then you've got this 100-meter intercept of, at Golden Gate, I guess. We're not sure. It might be another horizon. We're not sure. But again, once we have more holes down into here, we're going to have a better understanding. Here's the valley floor. We haven't even gone below the valley floor.
Right.
There's, lots more to come here, folks. It's just, and so we are planning multiple holes to go and continue to test
And
this area.
bear in mind, folks, that this is a sort of a stylized model of what they're
Yeah,
talking about. You won't know where you are in the system until you get drill holes down there.
correct.
Like, that porphyry intrusion or whatever it is could be just within 50, 100 meters of the valley floor. We don't know that.
Yeah.
What I'm also interested in is if you look at the arms of that source over on the left, the one in the middle kind of does, project upwards into where that Golden Gate could have come from. But you
Mhm.
see the sherbet models, you would have to have something coming in from the other side almost, and that kind of is somewhat depicted in the most left of those arms coming off of the source. And so, wow, I mean, this pretty amazing system you got going on here, Roger.
Yeah. Well, then actually, I'm just looking at this now. The other interesting point is we got a kilometer
Over
to
there in the
you've got
volcanics,
jackpot. We got
jackpot.
jackpot at 21 and a half ounce gold equivalent.
So how
500 meters, all in the volcanics. We have 400 meters of vertical relief, and very, high grade, in situ. And we've got, about 500 meters of strike, 400 meters of vertical relief. So, does this blob kind of continue on and it's just like another finger over here? We don't know, but well, we're gonna
or
drill
is it a entirely new other porphyry or source?
possibly.
It
Yeah,
just gets more exciting the more you uncover about this system. That's 1,000 meters over
it is.
to the right side there, folks, where they got jackpot all in the volcanics.
Yes. So and Golden Gate does it does follow the contact, but the new model suggests it continues to down dip into the volcanics. So maybe that's somehow connected. We don't know. Again, the drill bit, the truth machine will tell all. So in a nutshell, three significant intercepts of mineralization that are 12 meters here. You've got another 24 meters, and then here maybe 100, or is it only 10? Who knows what kind of numbers the assays kick back.
But
So
there in that third intercept, you got lots of sulfides,
we do. Yeah.
pyrrhotite 30%,
Yeah.
chalco 3%, sphalerite 1, pyrite 1, plus the visible gold. I mean,
Yeah.
this
Not
is
just abundant visible gold. So
yeah,
guess what?
abundant.
Yeah, I mean that's in the 10 meters. With the visible within the other portion of that 100 meter. The other 90 meters, there's smaller particles of VG that we missed. But again, the assays will tell the tale of what's going on here. So just to give an idea of uh, sort of future holes here, can I get over to the page here? Uh, there we are. Yeah, so we've got Golden Gate. So we have hole 237 that's currently underway. That's coming down here on this side. That's kind of to the north. So it's going to pierce, I think it's about 100 meters away, going through the Bonanza and then going down into the mothership feeder zone. From the Goldsmith pad, we've got, and that hole's going down 900 meters. Um, and then two holes from Goldsmith, they're going to go down about 750 meters. Again, testing a bunch of the sherbet upper lower. I think the El Dorado, obviously the Bonanza, and then down into a mothership here. So we're gonna have some really good data once these holes are reported as far as assays and so on. And again, we can start to see maybe as far as which way this thing is trending, and then focus some new holes as to where we might want to be putting some additional into the ground this year if we have the time.
You look at the various different angles of those zones, and it does suggest like you've got multiple pulses that are feeding this whole system, and it's a looks like a long-lived, powerful gold mineralizing system that just gets better and better the deeper you go into it, Roger.
Yeah. No, it's again, Alan, this is really that cliche, the tip of the iceberg. This is truly just the tip of the iceberg. To your analogy, this is going to get bigger and bigger, we believe, as we go deeper,
And that
deeper
tip
and
is
wider.
big. The tip
It,
is big of
yes,
the
it is.
iceberg.
It is. It is. Yeah. It's yeah, from the valley floor to the top, we're talking, close to 900 meters. So,
Of vertical relief, but then the tip of the iceberg, you could say, is the outcrop, and that's
yes.
like 2 kilometers from one side of the mountain up to the top and
Sure.
down the other side.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely lots of volume there. And, is it all going to be economical? Well, the assays will, again, be the tail of the tape as to how much is economical and so on. But as we continue to drill deeper and wider, to your point, we're seeing, chunkier gold, more abundant VG. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see VG in every hole that we drill this year based on, where we're
Oh,
targeting.
holy moly. And with chunky gold like that, you always run the risk of, well, did it make its way into the assay lab? And that's why I actually pay more attention, Roger, to the gold grains and
Mhm.
the population of them and the size of them
Yep.
than I do. It's the same in diamonds, right?
Yeah, you
You
do a
want to
statistical analysis of the garnets and the textures and the shapes and so on. And yeah.
And then when you get into the actual kimberlite, you're looking for the where your pulse is, the population of diamonds and the size of those diamonds. So again, it gets me back to my diamond days, but I because these are such high grade in the visible gold, you don't know if it all made it into the assay lab. This
Yeah.
is why I pay so much attention to the progression of the visible gold that you're seeing. At
Mhm.
the start, way up in the sediments, you saw sparse and VG. You go down the sediments more, you get a higher abundance of fine grained VG. As you get down to where you're in the sediments are right at the contact of the volcanics or in the volcanics, you're
Mhm.
getting more coarse grained gold. So then the progression from there should be coarse grained, abundant gold, visible gold.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, certainly with the assays, getting a 92.2% recovery at a 327 grind micron, which is, that's like the size of beach sand. I mean, basically the gold is falling out, or half of the gold is falling out of the host rock, which is pretty incredible thing. But just also think, but you're drilling like 2.5 inches diameter down and you're hitting this stuff. So clearly there's way more gold down there than we're actually seeing. But again, just more drilling and it'll just keep, I think, getting bigger and bigger. And I'm really excited to drill obviously Jackpot and waiting to see what's going to happen to this hole 237. That's going down 900 meters below uh, the hole 235.
You know, you just brought up a point there that reminds me of when I followed Pretium. Pretium, I followed from $3 to $19 when it was taken out. And they had very coarse VG and coarse VG. And, they would come out with these great numbers. And then over here, a little bit not so great, and then more great. And really, what the litmus test was when they were able, instead of drilling these 2, 3 inch diameter holes, they actually went in and did a bulk sample.
Mhm.
And the bulk sample grade was significantly higher than what the drill holes in close proximity to the bulk sample had indicated.
Sure.
So that's another exciting.
It is I mean, when we initially started, we were drilling HQ, obviously the bigger diameter holes. Now we're just NQ because we know it's there and we just want to get as many pierce points as possible. So, um, and it's obviously way more cost effective, and we can drill knock off the meters way quicker with the smaller diameter drill bit. But
But in
anyways,
reality, actually, Roger, it kind of gives you less of a chance of finding that VG, and
true.
yet you're still finding it. So,
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was just more of just sort of getting the pierce point in just to show that the system or that horizon is still there. But yeah, to hit it on even a smaller diameter drill bit is again, it's just shows how powerful the system is with VG just flooded through the pretty much every horizon that we've discovered to date. So very excited, and the drill program couldn't have gone off on a better note,
but
knocking it
yeah.
out of the park. And we look forward to reporting assays as soon as possible, and obviously drilling over Jackpot to see what the heck's going on over there.
And Treasure Island,
And Treasure Island, yeah, high grade gold,
VMS high grade. That sounds like
splattered everywhere.
SAP.
Yeah, yeah. I know they're 28.08 grams per ton gold equivalent. Every sample we took at Treasure Island ran, well, pretty much every sample ran at least minimum 1 gram per ton gold there. So, and it's an interesting program. What's happening, what will be happening up there shortly.
Well, in VMS deposits, you have a couple different zones often. One will be a zinc, lead, and silver, and the
Hmm.
other will be gold and copper. And you've already, it looks like you're into the guts of that gold, copper rich VMS at Treasure Island. So, I mean, you've got Treasure Island, you've got Sherbet, beside Sherbet, you've got Jackpot, you've got other targets. This
We
is
did.
a phenomenal project you have on your hands,
Yeah.
Roger.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks very much. And, hopefully we can provide additional value to the shareholders here. A little surprised that the reaction of the news yesterday. Thought we'd be trading at significantly higher prices, but it's just a testament to the time. And I think really what might get things really rolling here is once start reporting assays.
Well, you
And
and I have some diamond in our system, and we kind of get what we're seeing before
yes,
you see the lab results
oh yeah,
because of that experience in diamond. So, yeah,
yeah,
Roger, another thing that I really got to commend you on, Roger, and that makes you unique from a lot of juniors is that you guys are great at getting news out that brings your audience into the process of exploration. Some people think that a lot of this stuff is not that sexy, but when you communicate the way you are, you're effectively bringing your audience into the process of exploration. You're not just
yeah,
throwing out assay results from here and there. You're
yeah.
actually incorporating your audience into the process. And you do a great job also of constantly telling your story. And these are things that I don't think a lot of juniors are doing really well, but you guys are, an example to the way I think exploration should be reported and communicated. People got a lot of things that can keep their attention elsewhere. You got to do the work to get the story out there and keep telling the story over and over and over again. And you guys do exactly that, Roger. I really
Thank you.
commend you guys.
Well, it's happening in real time. Everyone's excited, and everyone in camp and the drillers know what's going on, and they know about it. They're seeing it. They're not. They're smart. They've been around for a while, and we want to make sure if we feel it's possibly material type news, it should be out um, to the public, and they can make an educated decision what they want to do with their shareholdings, if they want to add, sell, hold, what have you. So and then part of the point of when looking at doing your homework that's come up is look at who the shareholders are. Look who's our cornerstone investors. We've got Rob McEwen, owning 5% of the company on a partially diluted basis. We got Eric Sprott, and then our foremost largest shareholder being Crescat Capital. So, I mean, these guys have already done the homework. So, looking at various names out there, if you can look at who's on the share register, this thing's already been vetted. So, it does take some of the risk out. Not to say it's bulletproof. However, it certainly helps it when you've got like Quinton Henning as an advisor to the firm, giving direction and assisting, getting us in front of the right people. That's key because this has happened very, very quickly in a very short period of time. We've done all this, the 67,000 meters of drilling. It's only been really 12 months in aggregate.
Wow.
So, just think what happens, by the end of this year and next year and the year after that. I do believe that, as we continue to find new stuff, we'll just keep drilling and making it bigger and bigger. And, the question, I actually had a meeting, it was in, it was at PDAC. And, one of his things where I think he was buddies with Eric Sprott, and he had said that, one of his advices, uh, for looking at a potential story is like, how big is it? And if you can't answer that, then you know what? It's probably another tick in the box of, hey, it's something you probably want to really take a look at and consider. So
Well, I'm a good friend of Rob McEwen. He's a good friend of my show, and I was involved with him getting to learn about Goliath, and the timing of his purchases was quite kind of ideal. He got in at an average of 67 cents, so he's pretty delighted with the progress.
sure.
And he does his homework. Rob is a smart guy, and so is
Yeah.
Eric Sprott and
Yes.
Quentin Hanning and the
Yeah.
team at Crescat. And like you said, they have done a lot of the homework for you, but now the Truth Machine is doing the homework for you.
Yes.
And getting back to telling the story and doing these news releases, Roger, you're not gonna keep your audience well informed if you just all of a sudden come out with assay results.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell people about the Truth Machine. Tell them what they're hitting. People can do
Yeah.
their homework. They can be part of the exploration progress, and I
Agreed.
love it. I love doing these interviews with you, Roger, and looking forward to more of them very soon.
I get a sense we're going to be doing a lot of that this year. I was just showing you prior to going on. Yeah, this is the elusive sample from float we took. This is 30 ounces of gold and 90 ounces of silver that was found in float just below the cliff
And that's
pad.
one big chunk of sulfide,
It
people.
is it's solid. It is like so this thing is probably weighs about
Hold
at
it
least
right
five.
in front of you, Roger. Yeah, there you go. Look at that. Just solid
Yeah,
sulfides.
it is. Yeah, it's pretty incredible stuff. So
And
and
isn't it
actually,
interesting, Roger, that as you're getting down into the system, you're getting more and more sulfides?
yeah, yeah. So that'd be pretty cool if we drilled a nice big intercept of that stuff this year. That would definitely get eyes popping out of their heads across the
Well, you
board.
may have because you got 30% pyrrhotite and other sulfides. So
Yeah,
that thing's got to look like a big chunk of sulfides as well already.
yeah, yeah. No, the images, the pictures don't do the core justice. But it's chock a block full of really nice, good looking stuff. So I'm looking forward to those assays. Excited to see what they're going to be. My gut sense is, I pity the folks to ignore what we put out news um, yesterday because I believe we're going to have success throughout this year, and a whole 235 is going to be pretty darn interesting, and 237.
Roger, that's
That's
just your
going down
first two
900 meters.
holes
I know
in 2024.
it is. It's incredible.
Well, good on you guys. Say hello to the team for me and tell them that I'm really impressed with the work that they're doing and the system is just every time you put the Truth Machine in there, you learn more and it gets more and more exciting. And that's the progress that I talked about that my mentor told me to keep an eye on. As you start out like this often and you end up like this. In your case, you're starting out like this, the tip of the iceberg, and it's getting bigger and bigger as you go deeper and deeper and throw more science at it. And that's the progression of what becomes a mine in a general sense, Roger.
I agree. I agree. And again, I do believe this will be a mine one day. And I do believe once we've finished our job, this will be a tier one asset.
Wow. That is a hell of a way to end the story here today, Roger. I'm going to
You bet.
close it off and thank you very much again for your being a friend of the show and coming on and doing the great work. I just can't reiterate enough of how I love the fact that you guys are bringing your audience into the process of exploration. This is going to, Roger, I look at a lot of junior exploration companies, and in the tough market that we've gone through, they go like this, and then they go like this and this for a long time. You guys have just gone through your off season, and you guys went from your lows towards your highs to get at the start, and now you're starting to look like you could make new 52-week highs. And that's a lot to do with how good you guys are at always telling your story.
Thanks, Alan. Appreciate coming on the show. We're going to continue to hopefully deliver the goods. But it should be a blockbuster 2024
I love the
on
sound of that, Roger.
based on the first one of the year.
Blockbuster. Awesome.
Got it.
Okay, folks, as always, do your homework, speak with your financial advisors, go to their website, look at their corporate presentation, look at their news release. This company does that because they want you to be informed. And that's always been a litmus for me. What I try to do fundamentally is I'm trying to separate those that are trying to mind the public from those that are trying to find a mine. That's ultimately what I'm always trying to do. And I'll give you some highlights of the difference. When you call up a company or you look at a company, a lot of times their story is all about, oh, the stock's going to go up. We have tight share structure. We got news coming out. It's all about promotion of the story. The guys that are trying to find a mine, on the other hand, they're always excited about trying to tell the story of the project. And that's exactly what Goliath does. They put out a lot of fantastic results. And I advise you to go and look at their news releases. This will help you understand what this company has. And as I started out by saying, I think they've got the making of a tier one gold project. And I do not use that term lightly because in my career, I've only used it a couple times. And Goliath has what I think is the making of one. So do that homework. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.